Hello everyone. So today we are going to see Spring Cloud Gateway integration with our two microservices. So if you're someone who has joined directly to this video, so we have two small microservices going on with register with the Eureka server. And today we are going to add an API gateway through which we are going to access these URLs. And also I'll show actuator as well, how we can add that and how we can see the different URLs displayed in the actuator. Let's get started. So we are on to our start.spring.io again, and let's take it as Maven, Java, and dependencies. We are going to add the gateway, of course, the Spring gateway, and then we will add the discovery client, the Eureka discovery client, because our gateway will also register with our Eureka server. And as discussed, we will add this actuator as well to see the different routes which we have. Okay, so these three would be sufficient. And then I'm taking the latest version 3.0.0. And then this, let's name it as gateway. Gateway. Okay, API gateway. Okay, so that would be sufficient. And let's generate this project. So that is generated. I'm going to extract this. And let's quickly build this project. So mvnw clean install, and I'm going to just skip the test because that takes up some time. Okay, so this is building up, and after it is built, we will import this into our IDE. So this is built. Now let's import this project into our IDE. So I'm going to import it as a Maven project. So we have to browse the location. Yeah, so what we have to do here is we have to add normally gateways, let's run it on 8080. So we are not going to add any port here. We will run it on the port 8080, and we have to add some of this configuration. So I'll tell you what each of this is. So this is the application name, which is just the API gateway, and these endpoints. So this is for the actuator. So we are asking it to include all the endpoints. We will see in a while how what are the different endpoints. So you might already be aware of the actuator. And then we will see it specially for the gateway. So we are going to enable the gateway endpoint as well to see the different URLs which it generates, which it takes from the server and generates. Yeah. So and then we have added these routes. So what we are doing here is, so we have taken this ID can be anything. So this is the first route. So first route starts with the 0 index, as you see, and then we have these different properties which we can add to those routes. So ID, URL to which we have to route the request. So predicates, in the predicates we have added a path. So what we are saying here is, so this path, whenever the client hits the URL, if it matches this path, then we have to route it to this URI. Okay. Here as we are registering it in the Eureka server, so we are taking this load balancer path, or we can directly give the HTTP, the localhost path as well. If if that service is not registering in the same server, Eureka server. And then we can add filters as well. So suppose if you want a particular string itself to be removed and then redirect it to the URL. So in that way also we can add the filters as well. So here what we are doing is we are going to rewrite this path, and what we are saying is from this path, from this department, from gateway, so whatever is the remaining, that has to be there. So after this comma, which means we are going to replace this entire path with this remaining path. Okay. So in this way we can add different filters based on our requirements and the predicates as well. So let's quickly start our applications. So first let us start our Eureka server. So I'm going to start the Eureka server. So we don't need to add any these annotations. So we it is like inbuilt, so we don't have to add any annotations here. So our Eureka server is started. Let's quickly move to that. So localhost 8761. Yeah, so our Eureka server has started. So let us start our department service as well. So I've started the department service, and let us start this gateway, API gateway as well. So both the microservices are starting up. So we can see the department microservice has already registered to the Eureka server, and the gateway application is still starting, and that has also started up, and it is registered its instance in the Eureka server. So now let's say department microservice. In I think previous videos we were accessing it from the employee microservice. So I don't want to add up employee microservice. So let us see, like directly if we want to access this. So our department microservice is running on port 8082. So let me show you that again quickly. So it's running on port 8082, and the URL is controller. Let's go to the controller, and we have the URL as departments. So we are getting the entire JSON of the departments. So this is from port 8082. Okay. So now what we have done is we will be accessing this microservice not directly but via the gateway. So the gateway is running on the port 8080 because we have not specified any port there. Okay, and I will show you the actuator as well. So actuator, as you can see, it will have like these various endpoints. Okay, so actuator is basically a Spring Boot sub project. So yeah, so if you include star, it includes all the URLs, but if you have to enable the gateway, you have to add this property here. So management endpoint gateway enabled true. Okay, we have to make it, we have to enable the gateway to see this gateway endpoint. And then to see the different routes, what we have to do is we have to go to this gateway and then the routes. So we will see the different routes which are available. So as you can see, the predicate path, department from gateway, which we will see in a while, and then the route ID which we have given, and then the filters which we have given. So we are asking it to rewrite the path as departments. Okay, so and also if you are not aware of this actuator, let me show you the different endpoints which we have. Yeah, so here it is useful in getting various metrics of the application. We can add it not just this API gateway, but also in all our microservices for the to get the metrics, logs, and the health, such things. So suppose if you want to check the health of this API gateway, whether it is up or not. So yeah, so you can go to this endpoint directly, or if you want to see the metrics, so you have these various metrics available. So suppose if you want to see how much time this application has taken to start, so you can directly call this URL and then uh, generate the reports or handle this data accordingly with these URLs. So now let's quickly see how our API gateway is working. So we are, as we have added this, so let me take this string. So keep a note on this port number. So I am going to access departments from the API gateway. So department from the gateway, and then the departments. So which is the actual this departments string for that microservice. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see, even from the API gateway, we are able to access this microservice data. So what it does is this department from gateway, it will rewrite, it will remove this path, and it is whatever is the remaining which we are giving at the end, the departments, it is just retaining that. And also the initial path, it will replace it with the actual URL of the microservice, which is registered in the Eureka server. So in this way, so if I give a whole picture of this, so we have sent a request from the client to the API gateway. So our API gateway is registered in the Eureka server, as you saw. All the different microservices also are registered. So the department microservice has registered. So when the request has come as a localhost 8080 department from gateway and /departments, so what happens is this API gateway checks goes to the Eureka server, and based on the filters which we have given, it is replacing this part, the localhost 8080, with the URL of this microservice, which is the department slash micro hyphen microservice, and then the rewrite path which we have given to retain this departments. So it is retaining that departments, and we are able to see our data. So this is directly through the microservice which is on port 8080, and also from the API gateway we can access, which is from port 8080. Okay, so in this way we can hide the actual URLs of our microservices, thereby increasing the security. There are also other ways which other cross-cutting concerns which API gateways are used for. So we will discuss some of those in our upcoming videos. So if you like the content, do subscribe to my channel, and do like the video. And if you have any kind of queries, do let me know in the comment window. I'll be happy to help. Thank you.